Okay, folks, so now what I want to look at is how I do my bass. I use Melodyne specifically because I'm not a musician. I don't pretend to be a musician. I can play a little bit, but not so much, and not as well as probably as I should be able to by this stage because I've been producing for over 10 years. But at the end of the day, I'm all about speed and getting things done. Now, what I've done is I've opened Melodyne, and the reason for that is because I have tons of loops. So I know and can find loops that will fit in with a drum track that I've already created. So I've opened Melody Manager. I've gone to my loops file, as you can see here, and really all I'm going to do is audition loops and choose one. Now I've already chosen one just to show you in this tutorial, but really this is all I do. I'll just click on play now. And that's basically it. I like that one, so I'm just going to double click on it to bring it into Melodyne. And here it is in all of its glory. I'll just press play again. And as you can see, Melodyne basically has broken it down into its constituent areas and dropped it up into different pitches. So I can see that this bass line's running on G. So I know now that once I've set this up, basically what I'll look to do is make all of my track go around the key of G, and that's really exactly how I do it. Now the reason I bring it into here is so that I can bring it in and put it onto one key, which will be G in this case as it's a root note, and then output it as a MIDI file for use with soft synths. So I'll show you how I do that. Usually what I do is just grab a hold of the actual sound and drag it down onto the keys. Fairly straightforward, nothing too heavy, just drag it all down. Or else what I might do is leave it where it is and output it like that and then do it in MIDI at a later date. So then what I'll do from there is go to the file menu and I'll save audio to MIDI. Now this is basically going to take all of these divisions and give me a MIDI note for each division. So if I click on that, then if I click save each track as a single file, now there's only one track so we're okay, and click on save as, it'll bring me up the dialog. Usually I'll go to the desktop and just save this as bass, and that's it done. Now what I'll do is take that into Ableton, run it through one of my own factory patches and see how it runs against the actual beat itself, and we'll just do that now. Okay, so we've come back into Ableton Live again. I use Dominator, just a preset basically out of Dominator, just to use my bass as a guide track. So we'll just press play on it now, and then the next part will show you exactly how I created the bass sound for the overall mix. Okay, so I've opened up Blue, which for this particular track I used to create the bass, but I wanted to show you how I go about actually creating bass sounds. Generally I start from a preset that's already available, so if I just press play and let you hear that now. Okay, so it's not a bad sound, but I don't want to use that sound. I want to use one that's going to be gnarly and fit in. So we can see here that we're only using oscillator A and oscillator B, both on a saw wave and a sine wave. Sorry, both saw waves, my mistake. Now I want to change that. I want to put a sine wave in there. And I'll just let you hear that again. So we can hear exactly how that's changed the sound itself. So that's quite cool. Might want to change the first one as well just to see if we can get something nice. So we can choose double these guys. So if I go to saw square, I'm getting a really good sound now. So what I'll do is I'll just look at these, the pulse width modulation especially. I usually make that bigger on the main oscillator and just keep that there. Then I go down to my filter section and see what kind of filters I've got, and I literally just go through them. You know, totally different sound. If I up the frequency on that. Now that's the kind of sound that I generally go for, is a big sound like that one. Now there's distortion on this, so I can make it bigger if I want to make it bigger. And this is the envelope amount, as in how much of the envelope is being used to, as we can see, that's cutting the frequency right out. If I put that up, so as we can see, we can create totally different sounds from presets just by changing some of the parameters. Now this is the way that I get into synthesis, and this is the way that I learned how to do different things. Now, because I know how to use oscillators, I know how to use filters and the envelopes, I can actually create my own sounds from scratch, but it took me a very long time to be able to do that, so I'd advise you a lot of messing about, a lot of trial and error, and you will get it to work. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Now along here are the different things, and we'll go to the envelope. Now we can see the filter A envelope is like this, and we use these. So if I change the, you can hear the change in the sound that that attack change is made. It's giving it a real wobble. If I drop the decay time, we cut the length of the sound. And also the release time. We do exactly the same thing. Release usually, I'll use that on pads and make it bigger, so the sounds will last longer. So once we stop, you'll still hear the sound going. And that's basically how I created the bass for Oh Brother. So yeah.